UNC in a scrimmage for charity against Memphis on the road at Memphis.
Actual road game for them.
Which apparently, it felt like a road game. The fans were into it. Memphis started hot, and the crowd got into it right away.
And even Hubert Davis even mentioned postgame it was good for his guys to actually experience getting on the road because he said, our second game of the year, we're on the road at Kansas. We don't want that. Our first experience for guys like Drake Powell and Ian Jackson, their first road experience to be that. Like, hey, let's get to the routine of the shoot around, the meal, the prep, the travel, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and get that feeling out of the way. Experience it once before you actually have to do it.
And they won, which is always nice, 84-76.
Always good.
Here's my takeaway. UNC is going to be different. This is not a team that, we're going to change up a couple guys. They're going to have to change the way they play. I don't think it's for the worse, but it's for the different. Now, the one acknowledgement here is R.J. Davis didn't play. He had a hard fall at practice the other day, so they, don't want to rush him out there for live game action against another team. So he didn't play, which is going to make him feel way more different.
Mm-hmm.
But UNC is not as big and not as powerful as they have been, but they can run.
Yeah, they're kind of small.
They traded in some shot putters for some sprinters. They lost some power, lost some size. They can run, which is going to open them up to different flaws, right? They might not be able to just rebound the heck out of the ball like we've seen for the last 5 years. Matter of fact, Memphis opened the game with 5 offensive rebounds before the first TV timeout. They played this one like a game, so they had the TV timeouts, right? The 4-minute, the 8-minute, all that stuff. Before the first TV timeout, Memphis already had 5 offensive rebounds. But guess what? They can run. And this is like a leveling up in athleticism. And Seth Tremble, 33-point night. People are calling it a breakout. People are calling it, he's leveled up. I would caution that it was one scrimmage, one exhibition. But what I will say is, guess what Seth Tremble is? Athletic. He is fast. He is bouncy. He's got springs in his feet. I always say when you put an extra syllable into the term athletic or athlete, it makes you sound way more athletic. Meaning, like Seth Tremble, he is an athlete. Like he can go. Now, if we went back last year before, whatever, in this little exhibition, Armando Bacot might have had 33. It's within the realm of possibilities. It wouldn't look remotely like the 33 Seth Tremble got. And that's as different as they are. R.J. Davis, when he returns, Ian Jackson, the freshman, Drake Powell, the freshman, they can go. I'll tell you what UNC has a bunch of. Maybe outside of like Jalen Washington because he's just so tall, and Withers because their height, but they're mobile bigs. UNC has a ton of guys that I would try to convince to come out for football in the fall. Like if I were at their high school, I'd be going like, "Come on, man!
Yeah, you're 6'2", 200, man.
Like, dude, it's red zone is rebounding. Just let me throw a couple jump balls." And they, of course, would say, "No, I'm a 5-star and I have a ton of offers for basketball. I'm not risking it getting hit by some over-eager free safety from the town over." But that's what I see when I see this team. They can go. They might not rebound, but once they get the ball, lightning. Elliot Cadeau had 13 assists.
Mm-hmm.
That is a point guard that is he's got thoroughbreds all over the court, and he's just lining it up. Here you go, catch it on the run, I'm leading you to the bucket. But again, there will be games. This is the concern. The nice part, especially for fans, it's going to be so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. The concern is if you're not hitting shots, do you have a lot of one-and-done possessions? Do you have a lot of opposing teams getting 2 and 3 chances because they're offensive rebounding? You're going to have to rebound with your guards. Guys like Tremble, who are athletic, 6'3", 6'4", they're going to have to go down and mix it up with the bigs. The freshmen are going to have to rebound at a high level, which doesn't always happen. And Withers and Washington are going to have to play. They're tall enough. They're going to have to play stronger maybe than their body types imply.
Mm-hmm.
And Hubert Davis, as we'll play right here, head coach after the game, Hubert Davis thinks they need to be more aggressive, which I think every coach is saying about this time of year.
Well, I think it was two parts. One, from an offensive standpoint, one of the things that we always talk about is dominating points in the paint through post or penetration. I felt like we were settling for too many threes, particularly in the first half, and so we weren't putting pressure on the rim, and we weren't living in the paint, living at the free throw line. Then defensively, we just weren't physical or strong enough, particularly in terms of getting rebounds. We were loose balls, rebounds. We weren't getting two hands on it. We weren't being strong with it. And we identified and talked about if we can do those two things, obviously more than those two, but just offensively get the shots that we want closer to the basket and then be able to finish a possession with the rebound, that it'll really put us in a position to be successful in the game today.
Here's the thing. Talk about getting to the free throw line. UNC will get to the free throw line. When your feet aren't fast enough, your hands grab. And there's going to be defensive players that are just not fast enough to keep up with some of these guys. They're going to go to the free throw line. They're going to draw those looks. It's to me what Hubert was talking about, which is physicality, particularly on the defensive boards. And by the way, like, let me be clear here. When I talk about UNC basketball, I'm talking about the Tar Heels. I'm talking about North Carolina basketball. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about what may hinder them in, the ACC tournament quarters, semis, and finals. I'm talking about what may hinder them, against Kansas. I'm not talking they can rebound with middle of the road Power 5 teams all day because they're good. But when you are North Carolina, you don't get excited by wins over middle of the road Power Conference teams. You're counting in banners. So I'm looking at things that they will have to play better, do better in order to hang a banner, rather than like, if they don't rebound, they're going to be under 500. That's not what I'm saying at all. Mm-hmm. I still see them as even if they don't get the rebounding together, 15th in the country team. And if they do, sky's the limit.
We'll have to do an ACC cons and cons coming up here in the near future.
Darn right. ACC basketball cons and cons? That might be the most predicting one. UNC, rebounding, big dudes, which is so funny because you have Harrison Ingram and Armando Bacot last year. You're like, that's 30 rebounds, just those two guys. So
yeah,
don't got to worry about that. Check. This year it's going to be a little different. I just want to play this clip because I think it's hilarious. Hubert Davis, he thinks they can play even faster.
I think we should play faster. I felt like the pace was getting to where we wanted to in the second half, but the pace was able to get there because we were getting stops and rebounds. That's what, and I tell the guys, what has to fuel us is our efficiency on the defensive end. We get stops, we get rebounds, then we can go and we can run. I felt like it was better in the second half, but I feel that we ran really well for October 15th. It's nowhere near where I want to be throughout the season.
Runoff makes. I'd like UNC is obviously so much more skilled than this, but it's the Coach Carter scene where all they do in practice is run gassers and suicides and to the baseline, and then they come up on their first game and they, Coach, we didn't go over any offense. What are we supposed to do when we have the ball? Well, what do we do in practice? Run. That's what I want you to do. When you get the ball, run. I kind of want UNC to be that, right? They make a bucket, inbound and run. They miss a bucket, rebound and run. You get a steal, run. And I want to watch it, and I want to have a good time doing it.